You know how you do it.
Huh? Did anybody catch it? There it is. Say what?
So what you said was Tiffy time?
Is
I
it?
think you did.
Are you a Tiffany Stratton person?
Oh, 1,000%.
Okay, listen.
I am a fan. But at this point, it's hard to find who I'm not a fan of in women's wrestling right now.
That's a big thing to say. But you know what also is a big thing to say? The red light is on. So that must mean we are live. And the first thing I have to say is, can you guys hear me okay? I sound funny in my headphones. Am I sounding okay?
You sound good here.
Okay.
I hear
Hear me when I say this. Ah! We're doing another freaking show about the Bloodline.
Yes.
Just when I thought it was all going to end, or at least we were going to get a break.
Right.
It turns out that we are right back where we started from. Brian H., this is all about you today, buddy. We have our resident expert of the Bloodline because we have the newest member to the Bloodline. And no, my friends, it is not Jacob Fatu. It is Tonga Loa, formerly of and now reunited of the Gorillas of Destiny. Not only that, we have to talk about Backlash in France, the early king and queen of the ring entrance, participants, and potential winners in this loaded Monday Night Raw episode. I'm starting off slow because, god dang it, we're back to the Bloodline again. They're still running wild like Hulkamania for the last 50 years. Buckle your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. We got to get to the bottom of this. Tonga Loa joins the Bloodline. What is next? And when the heck is Jacob Fatu coming over? And what about the older brother? He's 6'8". He's in New Japan. I can't keep up with all this. Let's go.
Houston, we have a problem. Yes!
And that's what I was waiting for. Welcome to the Wrestling Wrealm Now podcast, where we take a deeper dive into the world of professional wrestling. Now, you can watch all of our Wrestling Wrealm content anytime on youtube.com/The Wrestling Wrealm. I am your host, the realness himself, the real Dwayne Allen. He is your host, Brother Hugh, A to A to the S, P to the H to the E, 3 to the R, to the D. Brother Hugh has a third in the building. He is your host, not just any guy, but Brandon the guy, and he is your host, the heart and soul, the resident expert of the Bloodline, the man, the myth, the legend, the one who is going to be solely responsible for leading the drive behind why did we not see this coming. All that and more. The one, the only, the forever heel, Brian H. Waters in the building today. Gentlemen, how are we doing today? I know we're switching things up a little bit, but there's a lot to get to today. But first and foremost, I'd be remiss and rude if I didn't ask the good brothers how you all feeling, because I'm literally watching the numbers go up. People are filling in, and they're interested in what today's show is all about. What's the word, brothers?
Not much. I'm feeling great, though. Feeling much better. We out here living life. Wake up every day. You know, I'm feeling
You're
great.
saying all the positives. Yeah, and I appreciate it. I'm listening to all the positives. I really am.
That's because this is last show as a 37-year-old.
Somebody's got a birthday. What that you lucky I took the thing off. That was an actual song on it. I can't find it.
But yeah, I'm feeling great, man. I'm back from vacation, but I saw Backlash. I just didn't tweet. I went dark mode. You know,
you did though. I was surprised. As soon as I didn't hear from you, I said, "Oh yeah, I know what he's doing. He's holding on his good takes for the right moment." And I think tonight might be those right moments. But before we get started, please, I want to remind you all to please follow us on all social media platforms: Instagram, Threads, X, and Facebook at Wrestling Wrealm. Like, subscribe, and engage in a conversation with us. Also, you can download all of our audio content on Spotify as well as Apple Podcasts. Watch us and subscribe to our Twitch channel at The Wrestling Wrealm. Now, I'm trying to get through this because we have a Bloodline show to do, like another show about the Bloodline. We're fresh off of WWE Backlash in France, and we have to compare that one to the one in Puerto Rico. But I am stuck on the results of something very particular once again. We're going to get to that and more. But if you want to support the Wrestling Realm, please do so at WrestlingRealm.com, where you can find all of our Wrestling Realm merchandise and get t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, and more. In the weeks to come, we will be doing some live unboxings of some of our Wrestling Realm merchandise. And if you remember, maybe a week or two ago, I mentioned I will be introducing some new merchandise to the Wrestling Realm. Maybe some custom pieces, things that may not necessarily be for sale, but the pieces that are for sale, you can find them once again available now at WrestlingRealm.com. Just go over there, take a look, see if you like anything. You want to support the brand, you want to be a proud wrestling fan, that is the place you can do so. Now, with that being said, for all exclusive shows and bonus material, subscribe to our Patreon channel. Yes, right. Trust me, it is a work in progress, and we're trying to develop new and intriguing content that will keep you coming back and looking for more. You can subscribe for just as low as $1. Brian H., what should they do?
Go to.
You're supposed to say pay to one.
Oh yeah. My bad. I was putting
No,
the
hold on.
He was on vacation. Yes.
It's okay. We can do this again. Brian H., what should they do?
Pay to one.
There we go. At patreon.com/the_wrestling_realm. So all of our exclusive shows and bonus material. Brian H. just thoughts. Brian H. has been filling it up for years now. And we're trying to develop new stuff for myself, as well as a couple of things that we can't mention necessarily on the show. But if you do want to get a jump on it, that is the place where you can get your first crack at things that is not necessarily available on this show. So patreon.com/the_wrestling_realm for all exclusive shows and bonus material. But not only that, we have partnered with SeatGeek. That's right. So if you're looking to purchase tickets to concerts, live shows, and more, including sport events, all kind of things that we have going on right now, going into the spring and the summertime, do so at SeatGeek.com. Use our promo code Wrestling Realm. That is 2 W's to save yourself $20 on tickets, $50 or more. So if you have never used this promo code, or you have multiple emails, and you want to save a few dollars on the expensive tickets that inflation has caused, we are here to help. Shout out to SeatGeek. Once again, they have partnered with us, and they've given us our promo code because they said, you know what, Wrestling Realm, we know you brothers love to help people, and we know you love to educate people and save them money. And I said, God dang it, SeatGeek, this is true. So we have partnered together. Use promo code Wrestling Realm. Do yourself a favor. Save yourself $20. Any purchase of $50 or more. If you buy 2 tickets, depending on what you do this summer, trust me, you shouldn't have any problem saving a few dollars. And shout out to all those who have used this promo code, because they have reached out to us and they said, fellas, we appreciate the fact that you've done this because you've saved us $20 on our tickets, $50 or more. So please do so once again using promo code Wrestling Realm, all caps, 2 W's. Please don't forget. But also, if you would like to advertise with the Wrestling Realm, you can do so and contact us at wrestlingrealm@gmail.com. Please, in the subject header, put the word advertise so that we can give you rates, so we can help you see if you're a good fit to partner up with us. And if your brand matches up with our brand, if there's a show you want to promote, anything you have going on, we would like to help do so. You can be a part of our programming as well. But don't forget, if you would like to advertise with the Wrestling Realm, you can do so now at wrestlingrealm@gmail.com. And don't forget to put the word advertise in the subject category. Whew. I'm distraught. Didn't deserve that. But you know what, though? See what Kevin Owens does deserve. He deserves to be a part of a culture, not just any culture, a championship culture. Conspicuous by his absence, Brandon the Guy is a little bit under the weather today, so he's taking some time off, which is necessary. But season 2
of gump juice.
Oh, okay. Well, there it is. Season 2. I'm sure he's going to see this. Season 2 of Championship Culture completely underway. You can always find it every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on youtube.com/the Wrestling Realm and playlist Championship Culture. Season 2 well underway, as well as the amazing 25 first episodes and a bonus one of season 1. All up right now. But guess what? Yesterday there was a very special show, brother Hugh. Since you're the only one here and you are the producer of the show and you do an excellent job myself, I might add.
Thank you.
What exactly was yesterday's episode of Championship Culture all about?
Well, we've all been to his to the museum, if you will. Mm-hmm. But
if you will.
Yeah, right. We noticed that there's a couple of belts that are duplicated, if you will. And the fans always ask this question to Brother Guy: why do you have multiples of certain titles? So he took time out of his busy schedule to sit down and give you the story behind each and every title that he has doubles of, and that was pretty much the whole episode. Talked about the IWGP US titles, talked about the AEW titles that he has, and a couple of other titles that he has in his collection that he have multiples of. So please tune in if you want to hear the story behind those titles and why he has more than one.
Now, with that being said, usually this is the part of the show where I like to do a recap because Championship Culture is one of my favorite shows personally. And guess what? Doing live shows, I like to be quite disruptive because if I can't be a part of the show, I'm going to be a part of the show anyway. And if I can't get all my thoughts out, I go back and I do something that most people usually do. Most scholars, they take notes. And in this situation, it's no different because guess what? I've got notes. You ready, Brady? He hates that part. It's terrible for the audio. Well, this episode of Championship Culture this week, once again, every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on youtube.com/The Wrestling Wrealm. Duplicates. There's a reason as belt collectors, sometimes you find yourself in a space where you get one championship and then you get another championship. And there's many reasons why. And very simple this week. Here's my notes. Here we go. If it wasn't for duplicates, I wouldn't have at least 3/4 of the championships that I have now. Shout out to you, Brother Guy. Thank you, sir.
Good job. As the fireworks go off.
And there's that. Look at that. He's got fireworks going off in the background. So once again, if you want to go back, please go back and watch that episode as well as the rest of season 2 that's been up. How many episodes are we in now as far as season 2, Brother Hugh?
Oh my gosh, I lost count. I'm pretty sure we're close to 20. We're between 15 to 20 now.
Okay, man, you gotta keep track so we can keep track for the episode count. Little birdie told me we probably somewhere near. Let's see, we probably near close to 700.
Oh, right, that's a big number. That's a lot of videos, a lot of content to put out there. So if you want to go back and watch that show, and I encourage you. You won't regret it. It's especially if you are into championship belts and just overall championship culture. Don't forget it's youtube.com/The Wrestling Wrealm playlist championship culture. I'm having a hard time, fellas. I got to get through this because once again, the show's about the bloodline. Do you see Brian H's shirt? He has his bloodline shirt. Are you ready to go today?
That's cute.
And then he's got like
shout out to Nate, Storyline Tees. You know, we met the good brother up in Black WrestleFest 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago to this date. And, you know, I've been supporting the guy with he has a lot of great content over there. So make sure y'all check it out. Stone Cold shirts. That's Gotta Be Kane shirt.
It's Gotta Be Kane.
Yeah, I got to figure out how to get that to Brother Hugh soon. As the birthday part slipped my mind, so that's on me. But when I saw it, I was like, oh, yeah, Brother Hugh got to get that one because he gonna love it. I knew he was gonna have a moment.
In case you've been living under a rock, that is Brother Hugh's favorite wrestler, Kane.
Time.
Him and Dolph Ziggler. But
speaking of favorite wrestlers,
yes,
why did this man wear black boots?
Listen to me. Here's the thing. He has worn black boots in certain situations that matched his darker outfits.
That's fine.
I don't agree with him wearing black boots on championship matches.
No,
because this is how he lost, and now David Finlay is once again the IWGP Global Champion.
I gotta see what he was wearing when he lost the world title.
Alrighty then.
Just hashtag boots is coming back, ladies and gentlemen. Dolph Ziggler, go back to the white boots, sir.
Please.
Yeah, but. Like I said, with that being said, it's time to get into the show. Brian H., ring the bell.
Oh, come on. Wait a minute.
That wasn't the bell.
What was that? That was a beat.
That's like the microwave going off. Okay,
No.
we have technical difficulties. No, it's okay. We just...
How that was still...
Okay. No, this is live. This is going on.
Beeping. Yeah, it is.
Man,
I'm okay with it.
Somebody
is that the smoke detector?
You know what? You know what we're going to do? We're just going to... Let me see if I can find it. We're gonna give it just all this. We're gonna start the show with this, ladies and gentlemen. This is a nice woo.
Hey, he was wearing white boots when he lost that Payback 2013.
Why are you researching this?
I
I
know.
had to because
He
it
just
was gonna drive me crazy.
Okay, well, you like the Schwabi professional wrestling. This is the part of the show, ladies and gentlemen, where we dive into. There's a segment that we do each week, and it's called "What Did You Watch?" We know we watch our regular programming, but there's certain things we kind of watch that got our pro wrestling juices flowing correctly to get us in the right mentality. Good gosh, there's a lot of people watching us live to get us going for what we're going to talk about this week. So, if you want to sponsor the segment, please reach out to us at wrestling@gmail.com. But until then, it is time for our first segment of tonight's show, and it is entitled "What Did You Watch?" Listen for the sound effect. Here we go. You're gonna keep hearing this Dave Chappelle scream for the remainder, because I'm just like, this is killing me. We do this every week. Know the routine. Let's just jump right into it. We're trying to do good on time. What did you watch?
Well, this week I had the privilege of indulging in some micro wrestling.
First of all, I thought this was like, I knew it wasn't a joke, but I was like, why is Brother Hugh like extending this? Now, if you guys don't know, and excuse me, Brother Hugh, just indulge me for a moment. I mean to cut you off, sir.
No, you good. You good.
Brother Hugh is back to getting back into the flow of his what he does. If you don't know it, he's a photographer. He's a event photographer, and he does a lot of pro wrestling, does a lot of sports. He does the is it the Baltimore Nighthawks or is it the Maryland Nighthawks?
Baltimore Nighthawks.
Baltimore Nighthawks.
2-0 by the way.
2-0 by the way. Congratulations to you,
Hey,
ladies.
Baltimore. Hey,
We shout out
Baltimore.
the D2 champions, the reigning champions from last year.
Oh wow, there you go.
We shout
Starting
them
off
out.
on a hot foot. So yeah, he's sports and event photographer, and he's been making his rounds again, and he kind of posted this. I don't want to say the wrong thing. What is it? What's the name of the promotion?
It's micro wrestling.
Okay, because I was about to say it was a micro championship wrestling, but I didn't want to be like stereotypical.
Micro Wrestling Federation, yeah.
Okay, so it's a micro wrestling federation, and we're like, oh wow, they do it because I know sometimes that wrestling with little people used to be very gimmicky back like in the 70s, you know what I mean, 60s and 70s, the kind of warm-up shows and stuff like that. But he posted this, and I was like, oh, it's funny, like cool, okay, they got this going again, they paid any mind, and then a picture appeared of Hugh at the show, so I just had to put that out there. So go ahead, Brother Hugh. I'm sorry, I had to, because it threw me off, and I was like, oh, he actually went to this show. I didn't know what was going on.
It was a last minute thing. I didn't even know they was in town, but a friend contacted me, told me about it, and I was like, what? In Baltimore? Oh, it's not that far away. So yeah, let me hit it up. Man, I got there. You know how you go somewhere, like you go to an indie show or whatnot, and you expect a decent crowd, but not nothing too crazy. Sure. I walked in there, it was hundreds of people there.
Wow.
Seriously. Hundreds of drunk people there.
I had no idea you were going.
Oh my gosh, bro. It was a time. A time was had for sure. They shut down that bad boy. They did their thing. Like when I say they were wrestling, they were wrestling. For sure.
Please send me this footage of this.
It is. I had plenty of footage. I didn't upload it. I will send it to you brothers later. Okay. But yeah, it was quite a good time. Matter of fact, hold on. Do I have a photo? There it is, right there.
Yeah, that's. I was like, oh, this is the photo that we saw, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know what we're looking at right now, so if you're listening to this podcast and you're not watching it, Brother Hugh had sent the photo to the group chat, and I was like, this is the moment where I've realized, oh, he actually went to this show. And it was this photo, and I was like, yo, hold on, did you just work this event? And utterly amazing. He threw me off because I swear I thought he was just like, I didn't even pay it any mind until I realized he was at the show. I was like, oh, you went.
Yeah, man.
And then you told me like, bro, they shut it down. It was amazing. And I was like, what?
Yep, I will be going back. They come to Baltimore at least 2 or 3 times during the year. I just found all this out, and it's only like $20-$30 for a ticket. Packed. Had a great time.
And where was this at again?
This was in location, Baltimore City, Guilford Avenue, the Guilford Brewery.
They're doing in the
yeah.
The building looks lovely on the inside. That's why I was looking.
It's
like
a
that.
nice spot.
Like
yeah.
But see, that's that area they're about to really gentrify. Like they
yes, it is.
New, it's the hood is on its last legs.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is really cool though. But I'm glad you had a good time. Shout out to them again. The Micro Wrestling Federation.
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool. So that's something we got to keep tabs on because it's not something I expected to see in 2024 because you got to be careful these days. What stuff is like satire and what's like legitimate.
Right.
So it's pretty cool to see though. But anything else you watch, or should we just jump to Brian H? Because
just jump to Brian H. because everything else was just women's football for the weekend.
okay, fair enough. Brian H.
Let me tell you what I did.
Yes, sir.
On vacation. I went deep.
And how was your vacation? I'm sorry. That was rude. Didn't ask how the vacation was.
It was great. It was great.
I don't really care.
Very relaxing.
I'm about to just go off the screen because I don't feel like listening to what you did on your vacation. Go ahead.
Funny. I went, oh gosh. This week
we're not gonna make it.
Oh, I went deep in the archives. Y'all ready for this one?
Yes, sir. What's that
now?
I pulled out the Self-Destruction of the Warrior DVD.
Oh my gosh!
And watched
that. Now I have some questions for you. Go ahead. See this? It doesn't take long for me to spark a question, but go ahead.
Yeah, so that's what I did. I'm not always on vacation. That is a biggest farce. I might disappear for.
Oh, okay. Didn't even see it. Shout out to you, brother. Look at him, brother Raj.
I'm always working. But yeah, so shout out to T Smitty, OG.
I know, right? It's been a while. So I said it's been a minute.
Yeah, that's funny.
And look who's in the building. Hey,
apologize. She was a woman of a word.
There you go.
Y'all make sure y'all check out her NXT content too. By the way,
it's fire.
Yeah. Oh yeah, especially with everything hot right now. NXT's hot. Her show is hot. Please check it out.
I had to ask her earlier. I said compare the black and gold crowds to the current NXT crowds because she was in the mix for both of them. Yeah. And so yeah, that's only available on replay on Those Wrestling Girls Twitter. But yeah, I watched the Self-Destruction of Warrior DVD because it's been like years. You can't even find it on, WWE got that on.
No, I felt bad about it. That's what I was kind of asking you. Like, you didn't feel guilty watching it or anything?
No, it's just
why
it's
you
always
laughing?
Funny because it's always funny to go back and look at stuff and like, narrative change now.
There it is. You're absolutely right.
Yep. It's like you look at like Bobby the Brain Heenan may rest his soul. This is Bobby towards the when he was really sick and he had lost a lot of weight, but he was on that DVD though.
He definitely was. He was still in Bobby the Brain Heenan form. Even at the time he had surgery, right?
Yeah,
he ain't had a surgery yet. But
partial, because partial of his tongue or something was missing, but not the complete joint.
Yeah. So yeah, that was interesting. That was it was the thing watching that DVD, and it was funny because it was talking about how he actually had brought the DVD up in his Hall of Fame speech, and how much it hurt his feelings.
It did. Warrior's sensitive. He's like, it kind of hurt my feelings. I was like, oh shoot, he's being for real right now.
Mm-hmm.
Can we speak on how the Warrior was? He was terrible, bro.
No,
why do we like him? He was terrible.
It's very simple. It's very simple. I promise you, it's simple.
Back to the 80s and 90s. Here we go.
Tassels.
There you go.
I mean, all right.
He was Warrior.
It was the tassels and the face paint.
Man, he was some junk.
Bro.
Remember, let me do my
Warrior because
he couldn't do my clothesline. Let me do my body slam and my power.
It worked.
My gorilla press.
Worked. And don't forget, swing the tassels and the face paint.
Right. That's why I didn't like Hogan because I come in, let me do my 3 moves and then Hulk up.
We wasn't smart marks. We just like wrestling and superheroes, and
I didn't like either one of them. I like Sting. Sting was.
I was about to ask you, did you like Warrior coming up? Because I definitely was a Warrior mark.
Nah,
but I also like Sting.
I like Warrior just because he had so much energy. That was it. But as far as him in the ring, I was just like, nah, I'm good. I'm done with him.
Here's the
thing.
And
I did happen to watch War Games. I think it was 98.
98.
Yeah, when he came in. Yeah, that's what I was like, what? Like, all right, bro, he's some trash.
When you young as a child, you look at the wrestling, but it's
Mm-hmm.
really the theatrics and the characters and seeing them on
Understood.
TV. You know, because
Understandable.
I think like I can't tell you the first Hulk Hogan match I watched, or even Macho Man. It's probably on Saturday night's main event, but it was always about what they going to come out there and say, what they was going to do, you know. And that was the thing about
Don't
Warrior.
forget what they were going to wear. Well, you knew Hogan was going to wear
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
gonna wear the, you know, he was
Yellow.
gonna have the whole outfit, the red shirt and the
Yep.
pants, and the same bandana, and then the red trunks and the knee pads, and then you go home and you draw it and color it in the books.
No, only you did that. I'm not coloring Hulk Hogan. I'm sorry.
I pulled out the LJN big rubber guys that my brother had in his little school bus. He had a little school bus where we had the and the WWF buddies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You still have yours?
No, my dad caught attitude and started tossing stuff out. I got too much stuff in here.
I beat the smack out of it. Like I remember that was the first time I saw my mother sew one of my toys, and she was like, "Yeah, we give it surgery." So she was sewing, like because
it's sold.
I ripped the Warrior, and then after she wasn't gonna sew it no more. So every time I would beat it, and I would put more
cotton in it.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And then try to staple it, and then off of the freezer.
You really tried to staple it though?
Yeah, bro, I was trying everything, yo.
Wow,
it was
a little kid thing to do.
Exactly, because I knew I couldn't ask her to give it surgery again.
Yeah,
so
like,
the Hogan one,
buddy.
The Hogan one didn't like after I beat that one up, and it's like, all right, we throwing this away. So I didn't want the Warrior to get thrown away. So I was trying to save it.
Hey man, listen, you had no choice. Those are the stories that we need to hear.
I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna get them wrestling buddies again. Bro, yo, remember when Alpha Jr. told us that Hogan? He was like, Hogan came. You know, we talked about the bloodline, but yeah, you know, we sat with Alpha Jr.
How fitting!
Like,
how fitting! How fitting!
Right.
Yeah, we're talking about another member of the bloodline who's now officially running WXW.
Yeah, how about that? Shout out to him. And he was like, he said, yeah, man. He said, look, my father wanted me to get probably the Vince McMahon buddy. He said they had a buddy of everybody.
He had prototypes in there that were unreleased.
Yeah. He said, I chose the Hogan one. He said, Vince told me I can have any one of them. He said, I got Hogan.
He should have took the Vince McMahon buddy. Because when I say that goes, it's massive on the collector market. Like, I'm going to tell you how popular that stuff still is now amongst, especially our generation. And probably they've had the creator, like the illustrator designer of the buddies come on, like do like speaking engagements talking about her time designing the wrestling buddies. And like that's how like coveted that space is. Like we're at the age where we have money and this generation is like we're not letting go of our childhoods to save our lives, especially during that era, because this generation came up during that era. So the golden years. So
bro, you know how much stuff I bought, especially, you know, when John Madden died. I was already in the collection mode before he died. But just like collecting all that stuff, like you said, from our childhood. Like, oh wait, I got, you know, $10 here, $20 here. I'll put $50 on this because it take me back to a time of greatness.
And it's well, it takes you back to a priceless memory.
Greatness, man. SmackDown 2, Know Your Role.
Oh yeah.
We had an argument about that. Did we do a show about that? About what was better? Okay, I thought
we talked about it. Yeah.
We gotta have the discussion on Twitch. We gotta do some video game footage stuff. But yes, that was yes. So it's just you got caught me up in collecting. My goal is to, when I get a bigger house, I want to have literally a museum of all of my childhood everything. So if I need to dig a blast in the past, I can go downstairs and take a look in whatever corner and whatever glass display and go back to that timetable. But that's just me dreaming right now. But we have got to get to the rest of the show because people are piling in. And they want to know what is what. Gentlemen, this Monday, it was his lights went out. This Monday, we're fresh off of WWE Backlash. Okay. This is one of the craziest shows that we've ever seen. I know we have a hint of it, or we had a kind of a preview of it last year when WWE took Backlash to Puerto Rico, and that was insane. Right, it's
Right.
unbelievable. We were thrown off about how enthusiastic the global audience is for the product, and that was kind of the first time. But we showed up this time in France, 5 or 6 matches on a card, whatever it was, and it was an unbelievable outcome for the entire week that the WWE was in France, from that SmackDown all the way to the pay-per-view, and then we move on to Monday Night Raw, preparing for King of the Ring. But first of all, I got to ask you, good brothers, what did you all think about this year's freaking France? Hold on, I got to add the slide, so just bear with me. I thought I added it, I didn't do it.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, my ears still ringing.
Wow.
That AJ Styles chant, boy. Yeah, it was different.
The energy for that crowd to keep it up, like
The whole show. Yeah.
yeah, you know,
I would have loved to have been a part of that.
Do tell.
Man, just like we're spoiled over here.
Yes, we are, of course.
So like, yes, we have good crowds, but it's different experiencing that type of crowd because they're not used to having it on a regular basis.
Sure.
So I'm kind of mad at myself because I should have just made that move and just decided to go to France.
No, yeah, sure. That I can definitely see you doing that.
But yeah, definitely. When I get a chance, I'm definitely going overseas to an event. Just for that reason right there, I want to feel that crowd. I want to feel that experience. I have to be there for that.
I think it was a very specific reason, but I'm gonna let Brian H go ahead and jump in and give his 2 cents about how he felt about watching Backlash and that crowd overall, because there's something specific about the fans over there and how they conduct themselves that we, as I guess the American audience, is probably not used to if you're not familiar with a particular sport. But Brian H,
right?
Backlash, were you feeling the energy? Was it better than Puerto Rico last year? France, did they show up in the way that you expected?
Yeah, I like Puerto Rico, but for the most part, the things I remember most about Puerto Rico is Bad Bunny and Damian Priest and then Zelina Vega. Like, they're hometown heroes.
Sure.
Deservedly so. But this one, I mean, to see, as I got it playing now, when I was watching the women's championship match, to see them like really give that feel for Naomi, Bailey, and Tiffany Stratton. And then they lived up to the hype. You know, you could even see, like, it was a couple of times when you watch it and you see them like just taking it in, and it just gave them that adrenaline. And it made me think, I was like, this was the reason why I was so hard watching wrestling in the Performance Center with no crowds. You know, and that's one credit I'll give to AEW and TNA when they implemented bringing the backstage out as the audience, you know, but you could see them, that adrenaline rush. And then Jey Uso comes out there, you know, one of the things, like, you could really tell the story of, did he take too much energy, feeling the crowd a little too much to prevent him from winning the title? But to see now, way everybody was doing with their phones, like trying to capture the moment, but then seeing the phones go up and down with the chant. And I'm like, hey, man. and you can see, I mean, Hartford, Connecticut wasn't the best place to come follow that as somebody who's, you know, went to a show there once.
No, don't just say because you went to a show in Hartford, Connecticut once. You want to say, you just like to say, if you want things about Hartford, Connecticut, buddy.
Yeah, nah, I'm gonna leave it alone.
Okay. All right, fair enough. I'm not
home
going
of
to
WrestleMania 11. But you know, it's like I was sitting there waiting for them. I was like, all right, maybe they go, because you know, usually crowds are contagious. So when one crowd do something, somebody else pick it up, right? Sure, you know, because even with this, we really saw that take off at SummerSlam, and then it was a thing. So I'm waiting for everybody to pull their phones out and kind of do the same thing, and I didn't get that. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe if it's a different crowd, maybe somewhere else they would have, you know. But oh man, yeah, amazing though. Overall, amazing show. I see why they go international PLEs, because I think we said it last week that it make these secondary, what we would call B-rate pay-per-view, it makes
Right.
them feel
In
even
your
more
house
special.
pay-per-views. They do though. And
Yeah.
that's calculated. We know it's calculated. We noticed that Triple H is killing two birds with one stone, right? So okay, cool. We're focusing on, as a business, Nick Khan's area, as a global expansion, like intentionally, an intentional global expansion. And then, like you said, you take some of these B-level pay-per-views, or as I call them, the in-your-house pay-per-views, and you take them on the road. So it's like every once in a while, we would have a super show in Australia or something, and you'd be like, oh, wow, this is their WrestleMania, or this is, or we, even when they were first going to like Saudi Arabia, like, well, this is their WrestleMania. We're kind of getting that feel in some of these smaller pockets across the globe for these B-level pay-per-views. But I was going to allude to what T. Smitty 3000 has made it very clear. He said that French crowd gave a soccer feel.
There it is. That was it.
If you're not familiar with football, we have American football, but football, we're known as soccer to us, but to the rest of the world, it's football. That's how their fans are at those matches all the time.
Yes.
They have fans. They have something called hooligans. Hooligans are like very violent. They have set stadiums on fire. It's almost like gang activity. If you're wearing the wrong colors and centers. I took a sports class in college, and it's a whole book talking about how like gangs back in the streets were soccer fans. That's how serious it was. Like people would be like, it'd be bloody in the street with fans like on some gang type stuff. So the tradition of how they celebrate their teams and their football clubs, etc., they trickled over to professional wrestling. So like what we looked at and saw as special, that's how they act everywhere. But they're in these giant stadiums, so it may not always be clear, or you know what I mean. It's not always as loud, and it's still like go watch a football match around the world. Go on Peacock, find something, because they have all that stuff on there. It's not that hard to find, trust me. And you just watch one of those matches. You look around like, oh, they're nuts in there. So you took people from a stadium that's that loud, and you put them inside an arena. I expected them to act no less. First of all, France was just on fire the entire week, but that was just, it's like I said, you can tell it was that extra oomph that those wrestlers needed, because they felt so appreciated to see how excited those fans were. So shout out to WWE, shout out to WWE Backlash. What do you guys think of the show overall? I know Brownie, you said it was a good show overall. What about you, brother? How did you feel about the show? And anybody has any favorite moments before we move on?
It was a quality card. I mean, it did what it deserved to do, what it was supposed to do. Triple H with these smaller match cards, it gives the wrestlers more time to just go out there and wrestle and perform and do their thing, tell stories, and they've just been delivering.
Favorite match?
Show.
3, yeah. Favorite match?
Of course, I'm gonna go with Bianca and Jay, just for the simple reason that they won the tag titles, and that was the biggest moment for me out of the whole pay-per-view, because I said, well, PLE, my fault. I'm sorry. I said before I'm doing a prediction show that PLE was kind of like predictable to me.
Sure.
But like I said also,
yep, I remember. Yep.
Like I said also, each and every person went out there and they handled business and they told stories, and that's all that mattered. So even though it was predictable, it still delivered for me.
Okay. Fair enough. Brian H., how did you feel about it? You have a favorite moment on the show? Any favorite match in particular that stood out, or something you just like better than everything else?
I liked everything. I think the moment I gotta say is just Jey Uso. Him doing his entrance. That was different.
Yeah, he's shocking me. Not really, but it's like fans are really gravitating towards him as a single star.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
He is. Yeah.
I know we're kind of teasing some things with the bloodline. Good gosh, we'll get to that in a second. But I don't know how you do this now, because it's just like, ooh, Jay's just kind of taking off. But
yeah, that was that. And then my favorite match was just the women's championship match. I thought it was well done.
The triple threat match. Okay. Yeah.
I love the finish where Bayley, just catching Naomi. I'm a fan of all three of them. Would have been happy with any of the results. Didn't think Bayley would lose it, but I also try to watch. As crazy as this may sound, I try to watch wrestling for wrestling and not think about, well, they shouldn't use this. They shouldn't win this right now.
That's not crazy.
Because I mean, even with like Cody AJ, I could have, if AJ would have won, fine. I was kind of like, the more I was like, man, you know what, Jay, man, I think Jay, he looking more world championship.
Isn't he?
And the video game had already started putting his overall with Jimmy's was last year 1 above. This year it's like 3, 4, maybe 5 above. Obviously, Jimmy lost a lot of matches, but then when you go through simulation modes and stuff, you see JB in these main events. It's kind of like, it's not like S.A. Rios on SmackDown 2. You're like, what? It's like, it makes sense.
Stop coming at S.A. Rios, bro.
I mean,
he was one of the best characters on WWE No Mercy, WWF No Mercy. You keep on trying to. And you and I are both Shotgun Saturday Night alumnus.
Facts, like so, he shut that bad boy down.
Put some respect on.
But the game was trying to take. The game was trying to take him where he could have probably went.
Okay,
it was because we ain't gonna act like he ain't had a skill, but that's the thing with Jay. Jay got the skill, he got that crowd connection. That's very important. He got like 3 or 4 Yeet shirts already.
Yeah, he's got some shirts in rotation, man.
Got the glasses, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the glasses too much, but hey, some kids out
like
there
the Soldier Boys.
They love all them joints. Yeah, I don't really like them either. But
and the crazy thing is, Jay got popular immediately. Like,
that's what I'm saying. It's throwing me off a little bit.
Yeah, Roman said in the doc, we was gonna get Jay going and whatnot. As soon as because that was the first time you really got to see his personality. We saw Jimmy's personality on Total Divas.
Yep, there you go.
We didn't see Jay, and as soon as the tribal chief and he in the back doing the stuff, and you're like, wait a minute, this dude funny. You
open the door.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's always fun to go back and watch that stuff. And you see him go from being a hothead, man, I don't give a damn with the tribal chief. All of that. Yeah. So, and it's like, but he's always been the one you kind of sympathize with. People got mad at Jimmy for either letting Roman beat up on Jay or turning on Jay, but there's always been a soft spot for Jay Uso, and he is putting himself in to new heights. The other day I was starting back listening to Masked Man, and Kat said it best. He was like, yo, he's like 2008 Jeff Hardy, and I was like, whoa.
Snap, dude. Who said let me run it back. Kat said what?
Yeah, he said Jay Uso is like crazy. 2008 Jeff Hardy.
Because Jeff Hardy was I'm gonna let you finish.
I was saying, I was working at the Blue Box during that time.
Brother Dwayne got excited. Look at him.
It's like, dawned on me, brother Hugh. I'm gonna let brother say when Brownie's is finished. I'm gonna go ahead and jump in.
Yeah. You look at during that time, I'll never forget when SmackDown vs. Raw 2009 came out. You also got those wristbands, and Brother Guy used to always talk about this. He was like, man, he was going to the shows, and I believe me and him went to one of the shows where they did like an impromptu cage match. But you saw those wristbands, those armbands everywhere.
Yes, the freaking Jeff Hardy socks for your arms.
Yeah, yep. And Jeff Hardy had, mind you, it was around that time when he was singing with the wedding, Teddy Long's wedding.
Oh boy,
a jacket edge. And he was just, when they were singing "Meet Me at the Altar."
Oh yeah, when he was vibing. Everybody's like, check Jeff Hardy. He was sitting there.
Jeff Hardy was the culture.
I wish we had that clip.
Culture. Oh man, I had it one, but and now you got freaking Jey Uso's like the same thing.
Yo, that's crazy. You even said it that way, is because you remember Jeff Hardy was. To me, he like worked himself into a world championship run because he was so popular. No matter what he did, like you said, that was the one thing you saw. Like, everybody has their thing where it's like, at one point it was like Rey Mysterio's mask. You know what I mean? Like all the kids had a Rey Mysterio mask because he's smart. Because every kid that had it, he would go up to him, give him some encouraging words, and so more and more kids would have it. And then you had Jeff Hardy's arm socks. I don't even know what they called, but I remember they were everywhere.
Yeah.
And then it blew my mind because I was like, man, he was so popular in 2008 going into 2009. Why would he leave? But, I'm not here to get into that. I was like, dude, he's the hottest thing. But yeah,
And shout out to Freddie Prinze Jr. because he talked on his pod like he went toe to toe with Triple H to get that belt on Jeff Hardy. That's why Jeff Hardy always rolls out the ring and that triple
Oh,
threat.
okay. Because he
Like
probably
ain't want
wasn't
to
happy
be.
about it,
He
but it
was
was like,
not happy. He didn't want
but it
to be
was
nowhere
best for
near.
business.
He
Right.
said when and he told him, he said when this falls, because he's not dependable, and this falls is gonna be on you.
Yeah, that sounds like
It-
Triple H because
yeah,
that sounds
that's
like
a
the
good
same stuff he said to
episode
Randy
of.
Orton.
Yep.
So, who man, that's we gotta dive into the ruthless aggression era because I know we call it the forgettable era in a lot of ways, but you can go back and appreciate some of those, not some of those gems, but it was a lot of good stuff that happened. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and trust me, half our audience is ruthless aggression era kids that are grown now anyway. So yeah, we have there's plenty of shenanigans going on. There's
Hey, bro, I don't even know what that was, bro.
usually the person that first said something has a lot to do with it, but like I said, it was we got to dive into that time. But Jey Uso's definitely having that type of run. That was good though. I like that one. That was a smooth one because now I can't play the other one. But okay, but yeah, there's a very specific part of Backlash that we got to get into
Mm-hmm.
because tonight is about the goddamn bloodline. Where does it end? We should have known when they showed that family tree. They was going to do everything they possibly could to get everybody on that goddamn family tree
Man.
on the programming. And after the whole success of WrestleMania and everything that's kind of happened, we knew that was going to happen. But we have King of the Ring coming up, right? We have this past Monday. I know brother Guy, it was not feeling well today. He was like, "Man, goodness gracious, what are they doing on Monday Night Raw? Man, it was a freaking loaded Raw." And like I said, it's crazy because it was in Hartford, Connecticut, but fresh off of WWE Backlash, it was such a loaded show that everybody's like, "Yo, what is going on with these with these some of these matchups?" Because you're looking at some serious matchups that we had, and they
That was
like,
a
oh,
whole PLE right there.
bro, like on a Monday, on a Monday. How'd you guys feel
Mm-hmm.
about Triple H? Kind of like they've been slow walking since May. Let's just address it. It's not a secret. They've been slow walking what's going on since WrestleMania. Everybody's complaining like it's not. It's only been a month, and they're like slow walking what's next for everybody's stories, and it's obvious. And they're like, we're gonna wrap up some things. We're gonna take care of some stuff, but now we kind of gotta like walk our way through this. But this Monday was a very very loaded Monday Night Raw show, and we're looking at WWE has gone out of the way in the last couple of years to try to revamp the specialness of King and Queen of the Ring. Not just just kind of a side thing that people do for the sake of doing it, but really trying to put some meaning and some help behind it. And if you look at these matchups, it shows that that's what they were doing. What did you guys
Yep.
think about this past week's Monday Night Raw with all these loaded matches, man? Was it overkill? Was it fun? Was it enough for you? Was it did it get you excited for King of the Ring, King and Queen of the Ring coming up soon?
Oh, absolutely. I loved it. My only beef is that
Mhm.
they didn't have the Kofi and Rey Mysterio match. They're gonna have that during a live show. That one, then I believe I can't remember which ladies. What was it? Was it Shayna? I
I
think it's
don't even.
Shayna and Zelina. They're gonna
Okay.
have that on a live show.
Well, she's
That
the
was my only beef,
reigning Queen of the Ring.
right? But that's my only beef about it. But as far as the
Mhm.
show in general,
Yeah,
great quality matches. Like look at these matchups, man. You can't predict who's gonna come out. You
this
couldn't
is
predict that.
PLE quality stuff. PLE
Absolutely.
quality stuff.
And that
What about
Ricochet Dragunov match though. Ooh,
yeah,
ooh.
yeah. What about you, Brian H? How'd you feel about this past Monday Night's Raw WrestleMania loaded match? I don't know what you call it, but it was like, yo, why is this? God dang, why is this the show so loaded? Like, of course you can see this every week, but this week's show was like, wait a minute, fresh off of Backlash, man.
It's a new era, man.
It is indeed.
And I
Would
know
you?
it's I
Mhm.
don't like going into the whole of they this is that and the other because at this point we almost 2 years in, but a lot of times it takes a while before you can really sink your teeth into something.
Mhm.
But we starting to see a lot more emphasis on where the in ring and the story meets.
There you go.
You know
That's a
what
good
I
way of
mean? A
putting it.
lot of times you would get one or the other. SmackDown,
Yep.
you gotta get the in ring stuff. Raw, you get the story stuff. Now it's a good emphasis on where they both meet. And man, we knew there was gonna be a problem when we saw
Mhm.
Dragunov get drafted to Raw. Because
Yeah.
like you're gonna Dragunov and Gunther on the same show. That's a collision course waiting to happen.
Oh boy.
But meanwhile,
I just hope it don't happen on King of the Ring.
hey,
My bad. I didn't mean to jump in.
no, you good. Wherever it
Ooh, I didn't
happens,
think about that.
but it's like everybody else, like, nah, they can't come up here and outdo us, you know. So that's what makes it so much fun. And then, like I said, the women, you know, and I don't know if y'all saw NXT, but the little combine they doing, that's all about design. They showing you the way they teaching you with the combine why things matter, right?
There you go.
They showing you all this stuff. It's not just okay, we having a combine. Why are wrestlers having a combine? Well, we need to see that they could jump these heights, you know. And every time they would emphasize on which women's wrestler was successful at a certain thing. Last Legend dominated this because of this. Jada Parker dominated that. Kalani Jordan. So it's not just the same ones. Ivy Now, Natalia, etc. And I'm like, whoa, okay. So I mean, not Natalia, she wasn't in, but you know what I'm saying. Like, they're putting this emphasis, and I'm like, I've been saying this as a dream for the most part,
right?
But we ain't too far from the way Shawn Michaels is cooking and Triple H together.
Yep.
I would you almost it's almost inevitable. We gotta have an evolution too for one.
There we go.
Yeah. It's they have way too much women's talent. They've been loading up on women's talent for a minute. So I agree.
Have a weekly show. You at the point you could have.
I think you can though with all the platforms that we have. Like you don't got to put it on TV. Like
I was getting ready to say that if you still had WWE Network, it would be perfect for it.
Which is let's be real. We know it's on its way in some way, shape, or form. Maybe not in the way that it was before, but it's come on now. I mean, think about it.
Level Up.
That's what I'm saying. Like you got Level Up on YouTube. You have WWE Speed on Twitter, on X. You know what I mean? So it's like there's so many platforms where you could do it, where you can send that one audience. So say that audience isn't as big for a television deal, right? But it might fit a streaming audience or YouTube audience because they wouldn't put Level Up on TV if it wasn't a thing. There's clearly not like if you look at the matches, the people are watching, they're not sitting there, they're watching these matches, right? So if you're someone that says, I like watching, like I'm gonna be honest with you, I have a new affinity for new talent. I love discovering talent, especially after watching like the latest series, WWE Next Gen, you know, like I said, today's modern day Tough Enough. So it's like now after watching that show, the end of that series, you know, with some of the talent getting their first match, they had to compete to get in their first match. So now I'm watching Level Up with a different eye now because I like looking to say, oh, I like them, I like her, I like what they're doing, I see where they're going with this, and then that's a new thing for me. So it is, and there's an audience for that. It's obvious. So listen, brothers, you might be onto something. I think we're knocking on that door. They're adding another women's championship. I don't see why not.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, such a loaded show. This is leading to King of the Ring, but we're not here yet at our King of the Ring prediction show. But let's just jump into it real quick because we got to get into the meat and potatoes of tonight's show. We got another freaking show about the Bloodline, and we're going to do a spotlight on the latest member, how he came in, why is he here, what's next, and who else is out there watching. But before then, do you brothers have early King and Queen of the Ring predictions? Who would you like to see be the King of the Ring and the Queen of the Ring this year? Who do you think needs it? Who do you think has to have it? Who do you think is in line for it? Where do you hope it takes them? So on and so forth. So I know it's early. It's we do not do early predictions. We got a little bit of time. I believe it's May 25th is King and Queen of the Ring.
Yep.
But for right now, who would you like to see to be this year's King of the Ring? Who would you like to see this year to be the Queen of the Ring?
Well, as far as the Queen of the Ring, I'm gonna start off with the ladies.
Ladies first, gentlemen.
When I first looked at the bracket, I was thinking about Tiffany Stratton, of course. That's the first name that popped up, and then Valkyria.
Okay.
And then diving deeper into it, I'm like, they might be better candidates for Money in the Bank. And I'm gonna give you a quick reason.
Okay.
Imagine if Liv wins the title. Okay. Rhea comes back, takes the title off of Liv. Lyra wins the Money in the Bank. She comes in and she cashes in on Rhea. That sets up, of course, you have a new champion, and of course that sets up a later feud with Becky Lynch down the line.
Sure. With
Becky,
a new established player.
right? Becky couldn't beat Rhea, right? And who
I
beat
mean,
Rhea? So that
yeah.
that can be a little feud or something down the line that we're going with. And then as far as Tiffany,
Mhm.
the reason I would go with her is just straight up just marketing material, just promotional material. Can you imagine her coming out with a pink briefcase with sparkles and
Oh,
glitter on it?
jeez.
You know what I'm saying?
You've clearly thought about this. This is clearly something
Let's make
you've thought
money off
about.
of it. Let's make
Yeah.
money off of it. But as far as the ladies, now that I look at that, I want Shayna Baszler to win. She just deserves it. To be honest, she deserves that push that she had before back in NXT days, and like she's Triple H was there. That was her guy, right? So
Right.
why not give her that push? Make her solidify her as another contender.
Sure. There you go. That's the word.
Usually I would say go Nia Jax. That's my girl, but I don't really think she needs it.
So you listen. You're thinking and you're operating, Brother Hugh, with this just such a level of maturity as a wrestling fans, because as Rikishi had mentioned something on the show. It was a clip I saw on social media, and they was like, would you who would you rather win? They talk about the bloodline. They were like, would you rather Roman Reigns win, or would you rather Cody Rhodes win? He said, I would love to have Cody Rhodes finish the story. And the guy asked, okay, so why that perspective? And once again, same thing with you, Brother Hugh. Rikishi just answered with such a sense of maturity and experience. He said, it depends. Do we focus on the guy that's kind of making money now, or do we focus on what's next in the story that we can get going to keep money coming in the future? And I was like, that's a very, very mature way of looking at it. So I say the same thing about you, Brother Hugh, with that approach, though. So it's for you to see something one way and to say, okay, cool, that's what I would like. But the reality is, because it's the truth. And I'm like, you know what? When you put it that way, that makes a lot of sense, though. So
Yeah,
look at you. You're such an experienced. You're such an experienced wrestling fan, Brother Hugh. This is like your level of expertise. It's like, this is sharp. People got it. I'm glad people are actually paying attention to what we're doing. There's a lot of people watching right now.
I appreciate that.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Was there more that you wanted to add to it? You want to show you a little more hot sauce on that, brother? Because you're cooking right now.
I was gonna say Nia, she's already solidified as pretty much the top heel as far as the ladies.
She's dominant. Yeah.
So does she really even need that title?
Sure. Yeah.
And so that takes me now to, I said Shayna, but the other person I was thinking of was Io, for the simple fact that I don't want her to get lost in the sauce.
Okay, got it.
And I think that's the route that she's going, because let's be honest, her first title run, like most of them are, it's kind of lackluster.
It's that awkward first title run. Sure.
Yes. And you want to keep her relevant. So why not give her the Queen of the Ring? And you don't want to do Money in the Bank again, because that's how she won it.
Yeah, she's kind of had her run.
So those are my picks for the ladies. As far as the men, I would say, of course, the obvious choice is Gunther.
Gunther.
Oh, Gunther, my bad. I'm sorry. You guys said the correct way. But now I'm thinking, because I was talking to brother Guy, and we both thought about Jey Uso. Brother Guy brought up the reasoning of, like, look, he's called main event Jey Uso for a reason, right? But how long is he actually going to be main event if he keeps losing the main event? I mean, so what better way to keep him relevant than to give him either the King of the Ring title or Money in the Bank? To kind of keep him, I know he has the crowd, this and that, yada yada, but as far as that status, keep him up there in the elite status right now, why not throw the title on him?
I'm curious.
That King of the Ring title on him. Plus, that sets up another feud later on down the line. Okay, he took Drew's spot. So if he was to go and win, Drew already doesn't like him because of the whole Bloodline situation. But Jay has a one up on him because look, oh yeah, I came in, I was a substitute for your spot or whatnot, and then I came in and I won the title. I won King of the Ring. Now Drew's pissed off about that, and that sets up another feud. We revisited a feud from before on a different basis. So why not?
Interesting take. Interesting. I'm intrigued now because I guess I feel conflicted. Because on one hand, it's like, okay, sure, that makes sense. But on the other hand, I'm looking at it like, well, Jey Uso is kind of a white meat babyface right now. Does he need it? Will fans turn on him and say, "Well, is he not main event?" You know what I mean? If that's what it's way. I guess the question is, at what point would it take for fans to go, "Okay, he keeps losing. He's not main event Jey Uso," or will that happen in the first place? I don't know. It
See,
depends.
that's the dilemma. That's the dilemma.
Yeah. So I'm curious. What about you, Brian? I'm sorry. Was that it? Did you
That's
have?
it.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
Yep.
Brian, what say you, sir? What are you thinking? Who are your early predictions for King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring this year?
Yeah, I think Gunther. I think really you get Gunther. Yeah, him and Jay in the quarterfinals or semifinals.
Okay.
Yes, and then because I mean on SmackDown you got so many ways you can pair that up. I would probably be like him at LA Knight or something.
Oh, okay. That's another question I'm going to ask you at some point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then for the women, I really just see Shayna Baszler. I think it's time for to get the Queen of Spades going again. And
really, so you guys are going with Shayna Baszler as far as the women are concerned.
Yeah, she was the person that I was wishing would have been in a world title picture by WrestleMania, but considering I understand, where you had to go with Becky and the plan wasn't to take the title off Rhea. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I could see definitely Shayna winning it. I don't see Zelina. I don't like babyface Zelina. I personally think Zelina and Lola, I mean what's her name, should switch spots. I think
you like bad guy Zelina.
Yeah, I think I can't call the lady's name right now, but
Lopez.
Yeah, Elektra Lopez. I think she's more likable than Zelina Vega as a character. I think Zelina Vega's likable, but it's kind of giving Randy Orton babyface, And
wait a minute now.
No, excuse me. Early 2000s Randy Orton babyface.
Oh, okay, got it. Because that's the way. Because anti-hero Randy Orton is actually quite hilarious. But okay, okay, I got you. Like blue and yellow shorts on SmackDown Randy Orton.
Or fresh out of Evolution,
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So I just feel like Zelina, she cool, but she's a natural, she was such a great heel. Sure. You know what I mean? But I don't see her winning. I always feel like the Xavier, it worked. I think it was more so, okay, this is your dream. But I think now it's time to get back
behind it.
Yeah, now it's time to get back to where it is. And that was to the heels.
Yeah, and that was during the Vin Man era too, as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of a sideshow and they were trying to revamp it, but didn't. To me, it seemed like they didn't really know how to, because it still was almost like a consolation prize.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, okay. Here's mine. It's obvious. I'm definitely saying it. Gunta. He's just. I'm telling you, like now that they've reestablished like the World Heavyweight Championship, it's like, okay, cool. This is the one. I'm telling you, he is up next. He has no IC title to hold. That's not holding him back anymore. And I don't mean in one stress that championship was holding him back, but it's like, well, he's established dominance with that championship, and he just got caught slipping. He had problems in his camp for a minute, so it made sense as to why he lost. And of course, he loses in such classic and glory the way he does it. Sign of a true champion. Shout out to Ric Flair. But as far as the women, I'm going with Tiffany Stratton. She's ready for the rocket ship. Like she is the prototypical, like she is the poster child for the new era of developmental. And I say that is because the way they're recruiting younger talent, like it's one thing to have the independent vets, and I say people that may have been in independence for a minute, but like are just getting their runs. That was kind of what NXT was originally built on, right? Versus the Shawn Michaels era of NXT is they're going back to, okay, look, we got to get these athletes, we got to get these talent young, so we can teach them young, so we don't have to break any habits, they don't have any egos, you know what I mean? We can kind of weed out what works and what doesn't work without having to pay them a buttload of money because they didn't deliver. And the era of the 15 to 16 year indie vets that draw money are done, especially with AEW around. There's no way in the world there's no way in the world of your level of talent you stand out there that somebody's not snatch you up between AEW, New Japan, WWE, and you could even say TNA to a degree, with what they're doing. So I think she kind of fits the mold for like, hey, she's up next. It worked out. She's a college athlete. We're promoting this to athletes. We're promoting NIL, and next in line. And now, so she's unbelievable. And for someone that has no previous like history in the industry, and for her to get it, the character, her attitude, Tiffy time, the catchphrase, she looks like $1 million. She's athletic, I was like, and she hangs with she hung with some heavy hitters this weekend. Well, not this past weekend, but
I mean, since the chamber.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is true.
So it's like she was the one I was like, oh nah, she's legit. And then like her feud with Becky Lynch in NXT, one of the reasons I told you that those main dogs going back to NXT, I was like, okay, that's what helped me brought me along with some of this young talent, because I don't give everybody a chance.
Get her up here now. Get Viola Valkyrie. Get her up here now. Becky she was scouting.
Of course, because the women, I think the women realize it more than the men, because they've said it, and I could be wrong, but they have openly said, no, we're constantly looking for the next dance partners. Because at one point they heard 4 horsewomen, like, great, we all wrestled each other 1,000 times now.
Right.
What's next? And then that's when Bianca was like, right, me and Rhea came up, like we were that next generation of like, yo, we're up next, and we had to kind of show that we can hang with them. And now it's just like the way they're doing it is just ridiculous. And of course, Bailey wanting to do damage control, and then they didn't let him do it. Now damage control stands on its own. So I'm telling you, there's a women's revolution in sports, period. So like, women are hot right now. Like, and I don't mean that in a sexist and misogynistic way. Don't get me wrong, they are. Women are gorgeous, but they like women's sports is just taking a turn for
let's go for what it is. The world have finally caught on, because they've been doing.
That's the truth, though.
They've been
that's
like
the
this,
truth.
You know what I mean?
And I feel bad, real quick, Brandon, because I know you have insight on this. I feel bad for those vets and the ones that had to pave the ways, because they're kind of still around, but they're like on the tail end of their careers a little bit. You know what I mean? And they're not going to always reap the benefits of what some of the younger generation is going to reap, because of how popular it is right now. And that's all across the board when it comes to women's sports. But you was about to say something?
No, like, you think about it, like, unless you're a diehard basketball fan, you wouldn't know that Cheryl Miller was better than Reggie Miller.
Female Michael Jordan. I literally call her female Michael Jordan.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I think she's the greatest female basketball player of all time, Cheryl Miller.
See, and that's coming from a basketball expert. On the wrestling side, like, you look at, like, I was thinking about this when I was watching the Sensational Sherry Dark Side. I was like, man, if she would have stayed, if she was still living, man, she would have been cooking right now.
And she was managing somebody right now.
Yeah, because
Paul Ellering is doing it.
Right. She was already on her way to work with the ladies there. She was going to be working with Finley, but unfortunately, her vices. But people like Beth Phoenix, like you talk about, like, people who just missed, like, who would have thrived in this era. The Beth Phoenixes.
Man, what
the Alundra Blazes? Unfortunately, Alundra Blaze career will always be known for the belt drop, but and she don't get, like,
it's not fair,
right? It's not, and she be trying on Twitter to be noticed, but it's like, unfortunately, if a tree falls and nobody hears it, didn't make noise.
There you go, man.
Because it's not like,
you got real philosophic right there.
Yeah, but but she deserves, like, all that jazz. You know what I mean?
Jazz is another one. Yeah. Jazz.
And
Jacqueline. Jackie Moore,
Jacqueline,
like, goodness gracious, like her career before she got to WWE, what she did in WCW and beyond that, man, it's ridiculous.
Bull Nakano, Aja Kong, you have all these ladies, Mercedes freaking Martinez, Daisy Hayes. I mean, the list goes on and on. All these ladies who were, and I love seeing them support this generation. Good. But I'm like I said, these ladies, man, like, I be looking at baseball games and, like, for the first time, we got 2 women's announcers calling the game. Like, bro, this should have been happening. Like,
there you go. It's not new, bro.
Like, women didn't just wake up and just say, "Oh, we want to get interested in sports." I interviewed my good friend Dr. Mary Eberhardinger from my elementary middle school, and before Brother Hugh came, that was the person I talked the most Orioles baseball with.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
She was a big time
It was
Orioles
something
fan,
about
man.
because I had a teacher too that was also obsessed and loved Orioles baseball. Like it was it's I think it's something. I think it's a generational thing.
Yeah, and Mary, we was growing up, and she was playing on the softball team. But school come in, talk about the game. Brother Hugh came to school 6th grade. Then it was 3 of us talking about the game or whatnot. And like I said, women been doing this, man. I'm glad they finally get in all their just due they deserve. We still, they still need to work on that equal pay front. But we're gonna get there.
Yeah, there you go. And I think that's I think it's coming sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to women. I'm glad we had this conversation. This was eye opening. This is. I hope we can clip this segment off because that was very enlightening. Like even I felt like, you know what? I think I'm a little bit more on this train as well. Like even I was already there, but just when you put stuff in perspective, when it comes to just this, I don't want to say it's not a trend, but it's just like this forward progression of the popularity of women's sports and being treated as a draw, not a sideshow. It's like because you see it across the board. Brother, he does photography for women's football. You know what I mean? Like this is a thing, and it's coming sooner rather than later. And I'm glad that people are like, we live in a day and age where everybody else is given a pass to kind of do and be free of whoever we want. Let's celebrate who was already here in the first place. So shout out to the women. We're making this happen. So we got early king and queen of the ring predictions. Like I said, we're gonna have a preview show. We got a lot to talk about on that show. Is because that's gonna be we have to talk about why we choose one over the other or what would make sense long term. But we'll save that for the show. But the reigning kings of the WWE, this is what everybody came for. This is what everybody came to do, and I can't believe we have to do this. Brian H., like I said, our resident bloodline expert. And I'm going to try to sneak this part in as fast as I can before it gets like an issue, before it gets flagged. You know what I mean? But
we miss you, Roman.
Yes.
You would think that with Roman Reigns' presence out of the mix, that the bloodline, that it might fall a step back. And for maybe a week, it did. And we found ourselves in a space where the bloodline is starting to become something that we didn't recognize before. Solo Sikoa, he kind of made his claim. He is the heir. He's the next in line. He's not the tribal chief right now, but he has been ordained as the next tribal chief. And since WrestleMania, Paul Heyman has made it clear, I have not spoken with Roman Reigns. He let that slip. He's responsible for taking Roman Reigns out of the draft. He has declared he is going to be a free agent. He shows up where he wants to show up.
He's going to hit it right here. Oh my God.
And then Solo Sikoa, he introduces a new member to the bloodline, his MFT, Tama Tonga. That's one. And then we were waiting on the debut of another. And where did we find ourselves? We were waiting for one individual, but instead we got one. We got one that's been a staple, a strong, a gorilla, a man of destiny. We got the debut of Tama Tonga. We got the brother of Tama Tonga Loa. One half, and now officially reunited with his brothers as the Gorillas of Destiny, the latest member of the bloodline. What in the world is going on?
This is crazy.
Nobody saw this coming.
That's the best part.
It was never a conversation, Brother Hugh. Everybody was convinced it was going to be Jacob for two. We knew his contract was up. He was thanking God, talking about dreams come true right before WrestleMania. We were all putting two and two together. Let's call a spade a spade. But instead, at WWE Backlash, we got the latest member of the bloodline, Tonga Loa, the brother of Tama Tonga, the sons of Haku, also known as Ning in WCW. The face.
That's my guy.
We also know them as former IWGP World Tag Team Champions, the Gorillas of Destiny, also known as, all right, Camacho. We'll address that in a second.
It's like I saw that. I forgot until I was like
Yes,
Googling.
it's fine. It's okay. We'll Brian H.
Mm-hmm.
Tell your cousins, sit down. Like this is ridiculous. Roman Reigns decided to create the Bloodline as a means of conducting business in a way that business he felt needed to be conducted.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We were introduced to their culture, we were introduced to their reasoning, and we were also introduced to their personal history because he grew up with Jimmy and Jay like brothers. Like this is not a thing. This is for real.
This is for real.
And the nature of their relationship in real life was reflected on screen. And then we had Clash of the Castle. First of all, it's bad enough to have the Usos. Usos arguably the greatest tag team to ever do it. Like you can drag and drop whoever you want in the mix. There's a handful. They're in that handful, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Solo Sikoa, the baby. He was in NXT talking about, I'm a street fighter. I don't got nothing to do with what my brothers got to do. And then 2 weeks later, he was wearing black and red in Glasgow.
At the end of the day, what is he? A wrestler. You don't trust him.
Never trust him.
He with third generation. You know, you can't.
Third generation, yes. And you were like, bro, this is ridiculous. Like, you're not supposed to. Like, now they got an enforcer, young, sturdy, problem, vicious, and you thought the Bloodline couldn't get any more vicious. And then he added Sami Zayn, and then he added Sami out, and then Jay's gone, and then Jimmy was gone, and then Jimmy went back. And the Bloodline was still dangerous because as long as Roman Reigns had the wise man, as long as he had his muscle and Solo Sikoa, they remained the dominant force. Jimmy was there. I can't cut. Jimmy's been doing a lot of messing up, so I don't know how effective he was as a Bloodline member. Brian, you can speak to it if you want, because you know I told you Rikishi called you nephew, and you've been a part of the Bloodline for a long time. So we've had that, and they've given us such a magical run of professional wrestling stories that are too much to even like YouTube.com where WWE has like a 4-hour playlist of how we got there in the first place.
Yep.
Right. And then WrestleMania happens, Cody happens, he finishes his story. We had this moment. At that point, we should have known, okay, this is the Bloodline's got to take a back seat. Because I'm gonna tell you what smart wrestling fans said. All right, well, now Solo's got to figure out what he's gonna do. We got to watch the implosion of the Bloodline. We got to watch them try to regain power and try to get refocused. That is not what we are looking at, ladies and gentlemen. The Bloodline looks stronger now than they ever have. Because let me tell you one thing about the latest members of the Bloodline, and I'm referring to the Gorillas of Destiny and Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga, the brothers and sons of Haku.
That's enough to tell you right there.
First of all, Haku's reputation everywhere is not to be effed with, and I say that lightly. At all. There's never not been a story where that name has not been mentioned, and they said, "Oh yeah." Y'all remember watching the Monday Night Wars thing, and they said, "Listen, they should have let the real guys like Haku and Barbarian go down there and really get like they're the first names everybody mentions in every situation." We all watch the Rock.
Road Dogg said that. It's like he didn't think like, wait, if they said Haku, we scared.
We in trouble. There was no thoughts about it. Said we are in trouble. Those are his sons. They reunited. Were united because they were never really a tag team before. You know, they showed up, and Tama Tonga was already in New Japan doing his thing. He was turning into what he was, member of the Bullet Club. And then his brother showed up after being released from WWE as Camacho, you know, Hunico and Camacho. We'll get to that. And they show up, and they became a more vicious tag team called the Gorillas of Destiny. Mm-hmm. And you saw their Tongan heritage and strength on display, and they dominated that run, that tag team. Mm-hmm. Both in the WWE behind the viciousness of Solo Sikoa. And why the heck does Paul Heyman look so goddamn scared all the time? This week's good for business, bad business. Let's just call a spade and skip all the pleasantries. We're going to talk about, is it good for business that Tonga Loa is the latest member of the Bloodline? And as you can tell by all the stuff that I mentioned, there's a reason why. But gentlemen, what is going on here? Do we think in a million years that we would see the Gorillas of Destiny as a tag team in WWE, let alone a part of the most vicious wrestling faction of this
Not at all.
generation, because they weren't even a tag team in New Japan. They had their run. They were done. They were no. They was Tama Tonga was back doing singles stuff.
So wait,
Yeah.
they never won the tag titles?
Yes, they did, but that was they were done though, like multiple times.
Oh,
Like
okay.
by this time, see, the Gorillas of Destiny were not even in the conversation at the moment because they weren't the Gorillas of Destiny. By this time, Tama Tonga was doing his own thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Because as the Gorillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga wasn't on the microphone. He wasn't talking. He wasn't saying much. They were coming to beating the tar out of people and making faces and leaving and scaring the crap out of people. And I'm gonna show you some images in a second. Right, but that was we talking 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like it was a while ago. Like it was a minute ago. You know what I mean? So like they it's not like they were relevant right now as a tag team. Right, and there's nothing. And there was a point in time. There was people said, okay, let's get a dream matchup. Let's get let's get the Island Boys in one room. Let's get the Usos versus the Tongans. You know what I mean? Versus the Gorillas of Destiny. But it was a dream matchup, and it wasn't even a thing.
Right.
And now we're sitting here with Solo Sikoa front and center, leading who looks to me to be a more dangerous.
This is a savage group,
bro. I don't even know what to say.
Like the energy that they give off is just so much different than the first version of the Bloodline.
Bro, look at their faces. They're about to bite somebody. First of all, there's rumors of it. They father biting people's noses off. I don't know if it's true or not. They have those scowls. Like, they have those scowls on their face. Like they're here for business, and they're terrifying me. I thought Solo was scary. He looked like a cupcake compared to these dudes.
He does. Though. He does. Look at Tomo.
Look at him. I'm not fooling neither one of these guys. And to me, there's a mystique about these guys because the mainstream audience, they know them, but they're like,
no.
There you go. So, gentlemen, let's have this conversation because we're gonna wrap up with this. We're making good time. The Bloodline, are they stronger now? Is there more coming? And more importantly, who the heck sent Tonga Loa? Where's all this coming from? Why doesn't Paul Heyman know what's going on? Why does he look so afraid? Why did they look Jey Uso up and down the way that they did?
Because Paul Heyman even looked at Jey Uso like,
help me.
You know, with them kicking out Jimmy, you know, that was one thing. I want to put this out here real quick.
Put it out there.
I do not want to hear all these rumors and crap about, WWE's not bringing up Jacob because they scared.
That's a lie. I know that for a fact. That's a I saw that today, and I was like, that's a bunch of poppy.
Bro, like, first of all, they professionals, and
Thank
why
you.
would he even no, so just to kill that noise, like, and there's people saying, well, is Jacob really like that? And then people now that's creates the
disrespect. Yeah,
Jacob is a good Christian brother. No kayfabe.
Right. It's like, oh, he gonna come out there, and then you got people showing this highlights. Solo could never. I'm like, see, y'all want this to break up. When Paul Heyman said we was in the bottom of third, everybody, like I said, everybody just
bottom of third.
It's like, oh man, it's crazy. It's going to be. This is old. Roman gonna hold the belt forever, and I wanted him to hold the belt forever.
It's funny how you say that with a Bloodline shirt on. It's like, of course, if anybody, like we didn't know that.
We was eating good steak.
That's what I was waiting.
You got to get credit where credit is due. You absolutely right. That's true.
Yes. Shout out to my little bro, 5 Wars Deep. He posted a picture from NABJ in Vegas, and it said we acknowledged our tribal chief at NABJ, and it was about 6 of us, 7 of us in the room, few sports writers and stuff. Or just right, NABJ task force, and when we said that, Roman retweeted it.
He's a social media troll. I don't care what nobody says. Because he's a TikTok and he's a Twitter guy.
Yeah. And here's the thing. The reason why this is good for business in the Tonga Loa, because you never saw it coming. And that's the same way this whole thing started in the first place. SummerSlam 2020 was built as you'll never see it coming. And but we was dealing with the Fiend, and so it was like whatever, right? And all of a sudden we get a new Roman with Tonga Loa, because I'm sitting there and I'm watching this match. So as soon as I see the hood and stuff, I said, wait, nah, he too small to be Jacob. I don't know who that. Then I seen the hood. I said, oh, I didn't know who that was coming. I did, like, so when that happened, I'm like, okay. People even called for what was his name? Bad Luck Fale. They said
Yeah.
bring him up next. I think it's another one.
Complete the
The
Bullet
thing,
Club, yeah.
the thing is,
Louis. I can't pronounce his
Hikaleo.
name.
Hikaleo.
that's the one. That's the one.
Hikaleo. That's the
Shout,
baby.
That's
6'8".
the baby, yeah. Right.
yeah.
Boy.
You know,
6'8".
look,
Imagine if they bring him on.
look, they cooking, they eating good over in WWE right now.
Bro.
These TV deals, this Netflix deal, they're like, yo, come get some of this cake. You know, oos. You know, they can if you get fried all with all the mayonnaise you want. And clearly these brothers, they in shape. So I don't know if they cooking with mayonnaise no more. But it's gotten like it's at a point where, yeah, the bloodline story may have been boring to some.
No, it wasn't. No, it was never.
It
Don't even
never
acknowledge
was to
that.
me. Okay.
No, cut it out.
So,
Nobody. There's no way in the world. That's somebody's opinion. That don't count. There's nobody
Right.
ever said that because
But
the money
this-
says otherwise.
but this has been the best story since the NWO. And when you really look at it, it's still now we at a point we don't know what's going to happen. And if I'm Cody Rhodes, I got to figure out a great feud because this still going to dominate the what they call it, the demos on Friday night. Because what we talking about? This show is based on Cody Rhodes just had his biggest title, his first title defense, something he's been waiting to do, finish his story, achieve his dream.
Yep.
And we talking about Solo, Tonga Loa, and Paul Heyman and Jey Uso. And who knows when Jimmy's coming back? And for all we know, everybody keep booking this Bloodline Civil War. We don't know what you remember.
That's too easy. You know they're not doing that.
You remember when there was a point in time when when Jimmy, Jay, and Solo and Sammy might have been right before he got kicked out. They just kept wreaking havoc on Raw.
Yeah.
Now they're reloading. Who's gonna stop them?
There's no way. First of all, here's the problem, and this is and brother, please feel free to jump in because this is why I'm nervous. Who's the level-headed one? Who's handing out the instructions? Roman was always cool, calm, collected. He knew what he wanted. He got done. And you would send Solo. It was a running joke. Solo. He knew what it was. That's all he had to say. He first of all, Solo has given the Samoan spike to his brothers. He has beat them up. There's an 8-year distance between them. He barely grew up with them because of the 8-year distance. And he beat the tar out of both of them. He has nothing. You're not about to tell me right now he the one in charge because Paul Heyman, look at this image. Paul Heyman don't look like he don't know what's going on. He looks scared for his life. But you know why? Because he's thinking the same thing I'm thinking. There's no voice of reason here. Who's one handing out instructions? Roman's not here. He hasn't heard from him. He was one that was usually getting the instructions. And all of a sudden, you got two relatives popped up. And they're saying courtesy of the tribal chief. We really don't know that at this point. We don't know who sent Tonga. Well, he claims Roman did. We don't know who sent Tonga Loa. He claims Roman did. I don't. What's going to happen? How far they're beating everybody up? You see what they did to Kevin Owens. I feel bad. Kevin Owens been fighting the bloodline since there was TVs in the stands and there weren't people, and he still can't. He still got to sit there and deal with this. Randy Orton's like, bro, I didn't sign up for this. I come back and now I got to deal with all these young studs, and they're game enough, but it's only two of them, and they got way more relatives than anybody they can bring in.
Yeah.
Only one royal family. Try to tell y'all.
No, the whole point. The song said there's more than one royal family. Don't try to spin it. Well, here's the thing. Here's probably why people didn't expect it. Let's have a little bit of history lesson because this is originally when we first saw Tonga Loa as Camacho. Now this is a little racist, and I'm not okay with it. During the Vince McMahon era, Camacho was the muscle. He was the heater for Hunico. Hunico was, he played a very, I don't know. I don't want to call it one thing because I don't, you gotta make sure you're saying the right things these days. But Hunico was kind of, Hispanic brother, kind of street guy. They came out there on a freaking on the beach cruisers, very, very California Hispanic vibes. You know what I mean?
I like how you put California part in there.
Yeah, because that's usually
That's
where you
exactly
see
what it
that.
is. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we
Yeah.
especially when we saw the type of bike he rode in on. I don't have a picture of him wearing they used to pull up on the bike with the headbands over the eyes and some shades. And he was Camacho. And this is around the time they didn't know what to do with Hunico because he was Sin Cara Negro, and then he lost. He was Sin Cara, and then the other Sin Cara came back. And then he lost the match for the Mask of Sin Cara, which I thought was cool. They were trying to do some historical Mexican traditions though. And then he was Sin Cara Negro, which was like the black version,
Yeah.
kind of the dark version of Sin Cara. And then he lost that match, and he had to be Hunico, and he had Camacho. We first saw him in NXT. As you can see, smiling and cheesing. That's that's the Vince McMahon smile and cheese. You're big. Don't be so intimidating, pal. Smile and cheese. Show those teeth. You're beautiful. That's what it is. No one in the world somebody that jacked and that mean looking is showing. He's literally going out of his way to show all 32 teeth in his head. So he had that run, and he was doing okay for a little bit, right? Because he was being featured. I remember him. And then all of a sudden he got cut, and then he shows up in Ring of Honor. Next to his brother, Tama Tonga, and we have this. This is one of the coldest images I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But you saw them kind of. First of all, that's how Tama Tonga used to look. They weren't wearing he wasn't wearing the camo pants. He was wearing the trunks, which you look really cool. But Tama Tonga was very mysterious. He didn't talk. He would wear that same face paint, and he would kind of like make faces, and he had a very, I guess, tribal traditional character. He had a mystique to him. His brother shows up, and that looked like this freaking Pacific Island SWAT team. And we saw another side of Camacho. He became Tonga Loa, and he united with his brother. And you saw them kind of tap into their Tongan heritage, and like I said, they're island boys. So this is where he made a name for himself, and together they were known as the Gorillas of Destiny. Like I said, he's a former IWGP World Tag Team Champions. And he had a great run. This is some of his best work that we have ever seen. And to me, this is where he made a name for himself. But by the time we got through this run, so much had happened in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So much had happened in Ring of Honor. There was a lot of changes going on. And I felt like I don't want to say he fell through the cracks, but his singles run was kind of lackluster in New Japan because they had a hard time trying to get Tama Tonga over. Tama Tonga was at one point trying to be the leader of the Bullet Club, and then eventually he left, and you know what I mean? He changed his look. Like I said, Tama Tonga, he cut his hair. He stopped wearing face paint. He began to talk, on the mic, and we got a different side of him. And then, they
I ain't like beardless Tonga.
No, I preferred him like this. I want him to come over just like this.
Oh, like this?
Yeah, like just his because that face paint and that hair, I was like, oh yeah, he's like, who is this dude? Like even when he was at the Bullet Club, he was dressed like that. Like I said, minus the SWAT vest and
I remember seeing
the camo pants. He had the trunks. He looked like I was like, yo, he looks like he was one of the original members of the Bullet Club. He was a I don't know how you describe him. He wasn't a heater because that was a bad look for Ale, but he was not one to be trifled with. In the Bullet Club, he was kind of a silent assassin type dude.
Man, so Cody we had to have his head on a swivel, but we'll get into that.
No, why do you think that? Why do you say Cody has to have his head? We're gonna jump to that right now. We're not ducking no smoke right now.
Cause yo, remember Cody came over.
These guys don't look sane right now.
And if I'm not mistaken, I feel like you said it felt like he was an outsider, and I was like,
remember I used to be mad about that about Cody the Bullet Club. I said, bro, he's the only one in there wearing suits, bro. Like you don't fit in with the crew.
Exactly. And like I'm sitting here getting this Bullet Club history lesson, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is all coming back because what did we say years ago? Said when Roman lose that belt, he was gonna be a menace.
Yeah.
That belt done left the family. See, they can't eat. You saw how Solo wasn't too happy about not being able to get in that room.
Yeah.
So they eating from catering now. They ain't getting the sushi, the steaks, and
the
all
special
that
treatment. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And now so he had to call. He had to look. I had to get some reinforcements. And
it's time to hunt. It's time to hunt. The pack of hyenas.
I said, remember that dude that used to come in the suits, and he now wearing suits. He done took our title. He done took our money. Took our money off the table. So like I'm looking at Cody. I'm even looking at AJ. AJ out here doing things by himself. This might have been the wrong time, bro. You
Yeah,
might need.
He better call the boys back.
You better call
Me,
them back.
me, Chin. You can say NXT, sweetheart. You know you got business to take care of down there. Handle your business.
You stay down there. You keep doing your thing. But like right now, you look the bloodline and the bloodline's thicker than bullets. You know. So
I don't know, man. Tonga Tonga, they both was in a Bullet Club at one point.
but yeah, but it's but now they with their family.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
It's
thicker than the
yeah.
Bullet Club.
Yeah,
It's
you're
thicker
right.
than
Yeah.
all this and all that stuff they was doing. You know?
Yeah, bro.
Bro, Tonga Tonga looks crazy, bro.
Look at his face.
Look at his face, bro.
Bro, look at his face, and then he got his hitters with him. He got his brother. First of all, you know how it is when you got your brother with you.
Oh yeah,
like,
absolutely.
It's like you already know you nuts by yourself. I can handle myself, but then you got your brother. Oh yeah, it's on now.
Yeah, you feel invincible, boy.
Like I know anybody gonna mess with us now. Like it's one thing. You got to deal with me. Now I got him. Now you feel like you could take on the world.
Yep.
What is the Bloodline's objective? Why Tonga Loa? Why wasn't it Jacob Fatu? I know it's because we didn't expect it. Right, but we get it. He has a history at WWE. He was somebody that nobody really paid any mind to. It's because he kind of laid low across the world. Like he wasn't. I don't want to say he wasn't doing anything notable in New Japan or where he was at the time, but it was just quiet. You know what I mean?
You said it first though. When you get your brother, you get your hitter. You gotta go you go get your brother first. They're dangerous. Y'all can be together,
bro. Tonga Tonga is bad by himself.
He is.
Like them together. Like if you go back and you watch the Guerrillas of Destiny stuff, like I said, to me, they lost their luster when they became humans, right? Because there was, like I said, even this image right here. When you saw this, looking at you from the other side of the ring, you didn't know what you were about to get yourself into. Because they didn't cut promos, they didn't say anything. They will come out, they will look at you. You see look how their eyes are open. They will open their eyes completely like that, look at you and make that face and be like, and then the bell will ring. You like, ho. We're not gonna have a conversation about this first.
Yes, that's the same thing that happened to King. Once he got humanized,
it was
just like
they evolved, and you have to. Don't get me wrong, because this is why they don't like you when people wear masks, because they say you can't use your facial expressions. You become one dimensional. And I understand and respect that. They had to evolve, and they did. They came out of it. They were still the Guerrillas of Destiny. They had different looks. To me, they weren't as intimidating. They were, but they weren't, because now they had to use their words. They were cutting promos. They were doing the they were doing the media skirms, the interviews and stuff like that, the press conferences, and it was a different Guerrillas of Destiny. Now these chumps looking like this. And they look like they want smoke, and they're part of the most dangerous faction of this generation. And you got Solo Sikoa sitting in the middle, looking for them to the left and to the right. Yeah. What are they going to do, brothers? What are they here for? What is the goal? Are we trying to get Roman Reigns the championship back? Are we trying to just dominate the WWE? We don't know their objective. They've never said anything. They just keep beating people up. They went after Kevin Owens. They went after Randy Orton. Tonga Tonga debuted beating up Randy Orton. They hit his car. Like he was bleeding from the face, and Paul Heyman was like, bro, I don't think you know how this works around here, but we don't go this far. And they look at Paul Heyman like, no, I don't think you understand, Paul. This is what we do now. And he's like, who is saying these things? And I'm asking y'all the same question. Who sent Tonga Loa?
Oh my gosh. I have no idea.
Brother
I'm hoping we get another curveball and it's not The Rock.
Brother Hugh, ooh, boy. Oh, geez.
Add another wrinkle in the story, man. Everybody thinks it's The Rock. I mean, that would be a nice way to tell the story, but I want to see something different.
No.
Why not bring Haku back for one more?
Let's go. I'm with it.
Haku and Barbarian have been doing shows. They wear t-shirts, but I saw some old footage. I said, they're still kind of stepping a little bit. They got t-shirts on their face and say Faces of Fear on them. And they won. They were holding the championship after the match, so I'm assuming they won those matches. But what is the objective of this new bloodline? Like we knew the old one. The old one was to protect Roman at all costs, because Roman Reigns really lost his last 10 matches. Brian H. He really lost his last 10 matches on some Ric Flair type stuff.
That is true.
Yes. His last 10 matches, or at least 6 of them. At least 6.
That is true.
He was supposed to lose his last 6 matches. Like, I'm talking about on some straight Ric Flair stuff. There's no anywhere he's supposed to walk out there alive. And somehow he found a way. Roman's not there anymore, and yet the bloodline is still there. They're all on SmackDown. this is not going to end well for Cody Rhodes.
Nope.
Cody
It's not.
Rhodes'
It's
first
not.
run is about to be short. If those numbers don't drastically change, they're like, let's get this going again, because there's nothing wrong with having multiple time, you know what I mean,
Exactly.
reigns. Like, and I'm gonna tell you right now, say they say, okay, Roman, here's what we're gonna do. Here's the storyline. Let's just humor me. So Cody, you're gonna lose it back to Roman Reigns. Roman, you're gonna carry it for about probably 2 or 3 months, and then we're gonna dump it back to Cody, and then we're gonna go back. Like, if Roman Reigns wins it, people are gonna be so scared that he's gonna have the belt for another 1,000 days.
Whoa.
They're gonna be begging Cody, like, Cody, what are you doing? Please get the
Right.
belt back, because
Right.
people just, it's gonna be a natural fear that's there. And brother, you had said something about it, and I know it's a conversation that this show is definitely going to have. Is like, who's going to be the next dance partner for Cody Rhodes? Who's the next villain in his story? Because the Spider-Man had a Sinister Six. It was at least 6 major villains that Spider-Man is
Absolutely.
known for, right?
Yeah.
But they were equally, like, we have our favorites, and we know the ones that like did the most damage. But he still had 6 of them, right? There were 6 guys that he main bad guys that he had to deal with at any point in time. So who's Cody's next guy? But we'll get to that. Like, that's a conversation that we have to have at some point. But the question is he safe from this version of the Bloodline? Because they have not addressed him. They've not attacked him. They're not surrounded him. Like,
I'm just finished with this.
Mm-hmm.
Cody made this thing about how would he lost because he was outnumbered.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to go get legends basically to have his back. And the way they all celebrated, every last person who came out there and wanted to celebrate with Cody and raise his hand will have hell to pay.
Absolutely.
Oh shoot, I forgot about that. Dang it, I gotta go back and watch WrestleMania now.
They're here to make a statement for sure.
Mm-hmm.
What's the statement?
And it's a different mentality now, because like you said earlier, they're not on top.
Ooh.
And when you can't eat,
I'm scared, bro.
When you can't eat, they're like literally. I watch National Geographic all the time. You know, I love watching.
No, that stuff is really good.
Nature.
You learn a lot about that stuff.
Yes,
I love that stuff.
Yes, literally, when it's time to eat,
it teaches about
you have to make moves.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we turn to straight savages, and that's what they're doing. They're making their statement right now. Look, any and everybody who showed out, y'all gonna get dealt with, and we're gonna let y'all understand that we are still the Bloodline, and we're not going anywhere. That old Bloodline stuff that you heard of before, okay, yeah, it was nice and all, but this is different. We're here to cause chaos. Absolutely.
Yeah, please don't interfere. Triple H like intermingling now without no reason to. Like, all Sam is here this week, so like Sam is here on SmackDown because he's addressing songs. So why is here to give him a match? No,
absolutely. But yeah, this is dangerous, man. This is dangerous.
Think about it.
He said, He said, think about it.
I'm good.
Here's why I'm nervous, gentlemen, and we're gonna wrap this up soon. But this thing has layers to it. It's making me uncomfortable. There's 2 things. One, I need to know why Paul Heyman is not left in the loop and why he's so afraid. That's one. The next thing I want to know, and Brandon, you can joke, because I can tell you ready to get into this one. I need to know this. We know there's more.
Oh, absolutely.
What have they? What are they going to do with Jacob Fatu? What are they going to do with Hikuleo? If they decide to bring in the baby. So first of all, now you have 2 sets of 3 brothers underneath one roof, and they're all in the same faction outside of the Usos. So you got the Usos on the outside looking in, watching their family. You got the baby leading a pack of another set of brothers, not to mention a Jacob Fatu potentially. And you're saying to yourself, and then we're talking about The Rock still, that made it very clear. Cody Rhodes, I've got some business to take care of. You all knew this was going to happen, but best believe, whether you got that belt or not, I'm coming back for you personally. What does that even mean? So you're not going after the title, but you're going after Cody Rhodes. Not to mention, Roman Reigns has not even made his intentions clear what's going to happen when he came back, because that man put out a video the day after WrestleMania. He said, I lamented day one. He said, yes, I lamented last night. To lament means to have sorrow, to weep. He said, today is day one. I'm like, and then that's it. And he's on a treadmill. And he made that very clear. He said the message to the world, I'm not dead yet.
He did.
Mhm.
He did.
I'm not dead yet. Jesus did the same thing. In 3 days, he made it clear. I shall be back. And
Like
they
you
moved
said,
that stone, and he wasn't there.
but like you said, the key is Paul Heyman. What does he have to do with it? What
That's the
does he
reason why
know?
he's not
What
no
does
lead.
what does he not know?
Mhm.
He's the key piece.
But y'all said it earlier. It's funny because it's funny. It's great. You put this together. You've been answering a lot
Why
of
you
your own
whispering in
questions.
my ear, bro? You
Don't.
trying to turn me on a little bit. You got chill.
Because
Oh, jeez.
yo, this has been a night.
He looked right at you want to talk now. He's like, okay, let me just.
Because listen, here's the thing.
Mhm.
The reason why Paul Heyman is left out of the loop is because there's no voice of reason. And sometimes when it's like if you're in the streets
Mhm.
and something happened and you got that one person like, no, we ain't gonna tell them. We just about to go handle business because they're gonna try to stop us.
Oh yeah, we know about that.
It's
That's
just that
exactly
simple.
what I was afraid of, Brian H. That's what's making me nervous right now. On some, like, I got chills as you just said it, on some streets type
Yeah.
stuff. 'Cause we know what that's about. You
Yeah.
feel me? And I'm like, that's what it's looking like, but you don't want to go there. But then you're looking like, ooh, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because them scenarios, as you well know, and I well know, and we've all seen, they do not end well for anybody.
They do not. Nope.
They do not end well for anybody. And you know what, Brian H., Brother Hugh? I think Paul Heyman knows that as well. He's the king of extreme, and now he looks afraid. He wasn't afraid running his mouth at that Hall of Fame. He said a lot of bad words.
Definitely did.
And now he's looking like he's afraid for his life. We're looking at, see, we saw the look he gave Jey Uso when he walked past him. He shook his head like, this is not going to end well. Like, he just shook his head, and even Jey Uso looking uncomfortable, like, they just looked at him. They ain't bother him. They ain't beat him up. They ain't touch him. They ain't warn him or nothing. They literally just walked past him, and they looked at each other. And he just kind of looked, and he just kind of like But Brother Hugh, I'm done. We wrapping this up. Because I'm not about to do this, man. You said it though. I think the keys to the situation is going to be Jey Uso as well as Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
It's because Jey Uso have been asking him his 2 cents. He's like, man, I'm saying family members I ain't really even seen before. Like, I know who they are, but you know what I mean? And then he's like, my brother's injured and he's getting jumped. And I told him he should have left when he had the chance and come with me, but now he's out. So like, it's nothing you knew about it now. And it's like, there's something Jey Uso knows that that he's not really kind of getting into. And it's something that Paul Heyman's like,
maybe
I don't know.
Maybe Roman really is calling the shots. He did appoint Solo as the heir.
Yep.
You know? But still, why would you leave Paul Heyman out the loop? Is it because he betrayed him before?
But why now though? You've had a whole run of dominance.
Right.
Now you
that's the
like,
question.
and even then it was a ruse. Like you suckered Brock Lesnar in. You know what I mean? You took him out.
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Well, guess what? You know what else we don't know? We still don't know who sits solo.
Exactly.
Like we don't know what The Rock has to do with Cody Rhodes. What's the personal beef? What's the issue? He said, you stole my moment, Cody. You owe me. He said, whether you had that or not, I'm coming for you. They made that statement on Raw, but Cody Rhodes is on SmackDown. So is the Bloodline. Roman Reigns is a free agent.
I definitely thought they was going to separate him.
Bro, I would feel better if they did that. I wouldn't feel so upset. Like, yo, this is going to be dangerous. They're going to look like the freaking Samoan NWO out there. The SWO.
Yes.
It's going to be red and black, just like the Wolfpack.
Yep. That's exactly what they are.
So you're talking Cody Rhodes. No, Roman Reigns shows back up. Say we got a debut from a Jacob Fatu. First of all, it's too many of them as it is. You know what I mean?
I was about to say Hikuleo, his contract up in June, I believe?
This summer. Yes. Well, it might be before summer, to be honest with you. It might be before summer.
All right.
His contract is up. You know what I mean? And then you talk about a returning Roman, a returning Rock. that could pop up whenever he wants to, since he's in the mix now. He don't got to be paid. He owns his trademarks. This is too much. Brian, this is your fault. This is your group. You want to be a part of the goddamn bloodline. I can't with these guys. It's a to be continued on the bloodline situation.
I'm loving it.
That's
I
music.
think-
That's great music right there.
When Paul Heyman said bottom of the third, I thought he was lying. Paul Heyman is known for lying.
Right.
Fellas, I don't think he's lying at this point. And we are on. We thought we were getting off this train. We thought we were done with this ride. But, brothers, we have been sadly mistaken. This ride is just getting started. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you joining us this week. We ask that you follow us on all social media platforms. Join us next week as we get right into it. We have King and Queen of the Ring coming up soon. We have Raw, we have SmackDown, NXT. There's so much going on right now. We appreciate you stopping in. But don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms at Wrestling Wrealm. Subscribe to our Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube at The Wrestling Wrealm. Don't forget Championship Culture every Tuesday, 8 p.m. on youtube.com/The Wrestling Wrealm. It's a beautiful graphic that Brother Hugh has made for us. So where you can follow us on all our social media platforms, YouTube, so on and so forth. Brothers, to be continued. We got to get out of here. We have to figure this out. There's more to come.
Story. Every belt
has a story. Say it the right way. Don't not whisper because Brian is what he said.
Every belt has a story.
There you go.
Every belt. It has a story.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, join us next week. I can't keep up with this stuff. We out of here.
Nope.
We gotta go. Brian
Peace.
Nation, you want to throw up your ones for the one more time?
Man, just
The
cut it
show's
off.
all about you. We keep doing these bloodlines because it's ridiculous, but we
how they
gonna-
keep
I
me
can't do
coming
it
back.
anymore. Bro, I got a
That's true.
headache, man. I can't deal with this. Romans, it's getting out of hand. Fellas, we gotta go. I'm out.
Houston, we have a problem.